And what up YouTube, welcome back to a new video with Rams Fan YT. In today's video we are doing back to the normal series of the history of your club with episode 7 of series 4 of Exeter City. Very interesting club in the southwest of England, and they were formed by two predecessor clubs, Exeter United and St Sidwell's United. Exeter United was from Exeter in Devon, and they played between 1890 and 1904. In 1904, Exeter United lost 3-1 to local rival St Sidwell's United, and after the match it was agreed that the two clubs should become one. The new team took the name Exeter City and continued to play at Exeter United's ground, St James's Park, where Exeter City still actually play today. Exeter United was formed from a cricket team of the same name and were one of the first football teams with the moniker United. St Sidwell's United, which had also been known as St Sidwell's Wesleyans and St Sidwell's Old Boys, was a club that had formed from the regulars who frequented the Foresters Inn in Sidwell Street, which is also in Exeter. Although the public house was also known as the Drum and Monkey. The team played in St Sidwell's old colours of green and white initially. On the 10th of September 1904, Exeter City played its first ever competitive match, a 2-1 victory at St James's over the 110th Battery of the Royal Artillery in the East Devon League. The attendance was 600 and the winning goal was scored by Sid Thomas, who was to serve the club in various capacities for 70 years. City topped the East Devon League with 11 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat in its first season, and transferred to the Plymouth and District League for the next 3 seasons. In 1908, Exeter City became a limited company. City became a full-time professional team and applied successfully for membership of the Southern League, replacing Tottenham Hotspur. A wooden grandstand was erected and the club entered a leasing arrangement over the ground. On the 3rd of October 1908, City got its record highest FA Cup win. Exeter City won 14-0 against Weymouth, and the match was in the first qualifying round of that competition. James Daisy Bell scored 6 of those goals, and 10 of Exeter's 14 goals came in the first half. City changed to its current colours of red and white in 1910. This was after having a poor start to the season with only 2 wins out of 11. And City abandoned its supposedly unlucky green and white kit, and it turned out for the first time in red and white striped shirts at home to West Ham United on the 12th of November. The result of the game was a 0-0 draw, but 5 consecutive league wins came for the club in December, and the change of colour stuck as a round as a colour, really. City actually made a historic tour of South America in 1914. During which time it played 8 matches against Argentina and Brazil. The last match of his tour came on the 21st of July 1914 and was an encounter with the first Brazilian national team playing under the authority of the National Football Association. In this case, the Federação Brasileira de Sports, precursor of today's Confederação Brasileira de Futebol, founded was just a month before. Brazil, featuring its first great star Arthur Friedenreich, won this match at the Laranjeiras Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, and it was home of Fluminense Football Club, and they won that game 2-0. The tour yielded 5 wins, 1 draw and 2 defeats. The only other loss was in a match that kicked off 12 hours after the players got off the boat. Exeter City were invited by the Football League to become founding members of the 3rd Division in 1920. And City's historic first match in the Football League took place on the Saturday, the 28th of August 1920, when Brentford was the visiting team to St James's Park, and Exeter won 3-0. In 1931, City reached the 6th round of the FA Cup, losing a replay 4-2 to Sunderland in front of its largest ever home gate. 50 years later, City reached the 6th round again, but lost 2-0 to eventual winners Tottenham Hotspur, but we'll come on to that later. Earlier, Exeter had beaten Newcastle United 4-0, and had beaten Leicester City in the previous round of that. In the 1963-64 season, City achieved their first ever promotion, going up to Division 3. However, City were relegated just 2 seasons later. It wasn't until 1977 that they would return to Division 3 under the guidance of Bobby Saxton. The end of the 1970s and the early 1980s were regarded as City's most successful spell in the third division, including a finish of 8th in the 1979-80 season and an FA Cup run the following season. Star players included Tony Kello, John Delvey, and David Puller. City's only major trophy so far had been the 4th Division Championship, which it won in 1990. In that season, City won 20 league games at St James's Park and remained undefeated in 31 home matches, including dramatic draws against Norwich City in the FA Cup third round and Sunderland in the League Cup fourth round, both of which featured late equalisers for the visitors. Following that promotion, City rarely shone at that higher layer of football, and the departure of manager Terry Cooper and key players such as Sean Taylor and Richard Dryden, Clive Whitehead, Brian McDermott, and Steve Neville left new boss Alan Ball to pick up the pieces. There were some successes under the former World Cup winner, including winning both games against local rivals Plymouth in the club's first derbies for a decade in the 1992-93 season. But Ball left for Southampton in January 1994, and the returning Cooper was unable to save Exeter from relegation. Back in the bottom division, City struggled for nearly a decade, with chairman Ivor Dobble taking the club into administration and starting a chain of events that resulted in the sale of the club's ground. In November 1994, the club almost went out of business and sold its stadium to Beazer for £650,000. But they were able to stay there after the local council took it over. After nearly 2 years on the brink of collapse, the club came out of administration on the 1st of August 1996, although the problems on the field were far from over. In 2003, City finished 23rd in Division 3 and was relegated to the Conference National. Exeter were the first club to suffer automatic relegation without finishing bottom of the league. City won their last game against Southend United 1-0, but were still relegated as Swansea City's victory over Hull City left the Grecians 1 point short of safety. Following relegation to the conference, the club was taken over by the Exeter City Supporters Trust, purchasing a majority shareholder on the 5th of September 2003. In May 2007, 2 of the directors who had been in charge during the season 2002-2003 were convicted of fraudulent trading at the club. John Russell receiving a prison sentence and Mike Lewis a community service sentence. Several £1 million in debt and with no big investor in sight, the trust kept the club going through fundraising activities amongst rank and file supporters. Complex legal arguments with both Inland Revenue and football authorities meant that City's first season of non-league football was plagued by off-the-field uncertainty. The claim was finally dropped in June 2004. In 2004, a creditors' voluntary arrangement, or CVA, was put in place to reduce the club's debts. Through the club's Red or Dead scheme, hundreds of fans pledged at least £500 each to fund the CVA repayments. But the FA Cup proved to be the income boost that the Grecians needed, as City drew Manchester United away in the third round of the FA Cup. City drew 0-0 at Old Trafford in January 2005, gaining £653,511 as City's share of receipts from the 67,511 people in attendance. Further income from a televised replay won 2-0 by United, coupled with ongoing fundraising and unpaid work from the club's supporters, helped the club to repay its debts, and the CVA was cleared in December 2005. 2004 also saw the club's centenary. In May 2004, a friendly fixture was arranged against Brazilian Masters team at St James's Park, a celebration of City's South American tour of 1914. The Brazilian team, containing such notable players as Careca and Dunga, won 1-0. City's first team finished the 2006-7 season in 5th place, qualifying for the playoffs. After beating Oxford United on penalties in the semi-final, City met Morecambe at Wembley in the final, where they lost 2-1 despite taking an early lead. Exeter reached the playoff final in the following season. This time, Exeter looked to be heading out of the playoffs after losing the first leg of the semi-final at home to local rivals Torquay United 2-1. But they came back to win the second leg 4-1 with 3 goals in the last 20 minutes. In the final, Exeter met Cambridge United in front of a conference playoff record crowd of 42,511. Winning 1-0 with a goal from Rob Edwards, earning promotion to League Two. The club followed its success in the conference by finishing as runners-up to Brentford in League Two. A goal from Richard Logan helped Exeter to win promotion to League One with a 1-0 win away to Rotherham United on the last day of the season. 2009-2010 was Exeter's 45th season in the third tier of English football. They had played more seasons in the third tier than any other club who had never reached the top 2 tiers. They survived their first promotion at this level for 16 years by 1 point. An 82nd minute Ryan Harley goal against Huddersfield Town on the final day of the season saw Exeter overcome the promotion chasers 2-1 and relegated Gillingham in the process. The club suffered a tragedy on the 10th of August 2010, days after the start of the 2010-11 season, when striker Adam Stansfield died of cancer at the tender young age of only 31. As a result, their next fixture against Dagenham and Redbridge on the 14th of August was postponed as a mark of respect. Exeter recovered well, however, and finished 8th in the league that season, 1 point off a playoff spot. Following such a strong season, hopes were high for the 2011-12 season, but poor away form with just 2 wins from the home matches all season saw Exeter relegated to League Two. Relegation was confirmed on the 28th of April 2012, following a 4-1 defeat away to Carlisle United. The club remains owned by its fans through the Exeter City Supporters Trust, and during the 2012-13 season saw Exeter have a marginally successful season, spending the season travelling up and down the top half of the season from 1st place to 10th. Exeter set a new club record for away wins in a single season, winning 11 out of their 23 fixtures away from home. City had one of the highest away win percentages of the season. However, disappointing home form led them to fall into the playoff positions, only to see a poor end of season run, leaving them into the 10th position. Despite their earlier automatic promotion and then re-estimated playoff ambitions, Tisdale claimed that injuries were to blame for City missing out on the playoffs. At the end of the 2012-13 campaign, poor funds and a lack of income led to an unfortunate squad trim, with boss Paul Tisdale having to let go. Jamie Cureton, lead goal scorer of the last campaign, who netted 21 goals, and for 2010 campaigns with similar statistics. Guillaume Bauza, Kevin Manquois, and unable to renew his contract despite his fan favourite status and great playing abilities, heralding fans and chant songs, Mark Leslie, despite being there only half a season, Rhys Evans, and later Tully's new contract was withdrawn due to financial constraints. Despite this, Tisdale managed to sign Sam Parkin and Doug Bergweist. In 2013-14, Exeter participated in Football League 2 and the Football League Cup, but were eliminated in the first round of the competition by Queen's Park Rangers, and in the FA Cup, Exeter City were knocked out by Peterborough United in the first round. In the League 2 season, Exeter finished in 16th. In pre-season, after a 1-0 friendly loss to Reading, the club went on a short tour to Brazil to commemorate 100 years since they played for Brazil national football team. Exeter drew 0-0 against Fluminense under 23s and then beat sides Tupi and Rio Cricket Club 2-1 and 3-1 respectively. Exeter finished pre-season with 2-0 home losses to Swansea City and Torquay United. Exeter City's opening matches of the 2014-15 campaign were a 1-1 draw against Portsmouth in League 2 and then a 2-0 loss against AFC Bournemouth in the Football League Cup. Both matches were played at St James's Park. In the 2014-15 FA Cup, in the first round, they were beaten 1-1 away to Warrington Town, a club 100 places lower than them at that current point in the season. The game was also broadcast live on BBC Two. Progressions finished 10th in League 2 in 2014-15, their playoff push just falling short in the final few weeks. City finished in 14th position in 2015-16, a season that included a memorable 2-2 draw against Premier League Liverpool in the FA Cup. In the 2016-17 season, City started badly and were bottom of the league by November. However, turnaround in form saw Exeter finish 5th in the league and earn a playoff spot. Following a thrilling 3-3 draw in the first leg of the semi-final at Carlisle, the second leg, tied at 2-2, looked destined to go to extra time. But in the 95th minute, Jack Stacey's long-range shot with his weak foot fired Exeter into the final, earning them a spot at Wembley. The final took place on the 28th of May, and Exeter faced Blackpool. Their hopes of promotion were shattered when they conceded a goal within 3 minutes, and although they equalised, City eventually lost the game 2-1. On the back of the playoff final defeat, Exeter began the 2017-18 season unbeaten after 5 games, notably beating Cheltenham in a 7-goal thriller. Like in the season before, they reached the playoff final, again being on the losing side, this time against Coventry. On the 1st of June 2018, Exeter announced that after 12 years as manager, Paul Tisdale had decided not to sign a new contract with the club, which announced that Matt Taylor, a former captain and under 23 team coach, had been appointed as manager. On the 26th of April 2022, Exeter gained promotion to League One following a 2-1 win over Barrow at St James's Park, and went on to finish the 2021-22 EFL League 2 season in 2nd place. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you are new around here. That'd be hugely appreciated. I've got another request by a fan for the video I'm going to be doing on Friday of the history of Penrith, somewhere near Carlisle, up in the Lake District area. Very nice town. And I will be back, but these will be pre-recorded as well. And the history of your club, though, will return with who is it next week? Forest Green Rovers. Very interesting club. Thank you very much for watching, though, and goodbye for now.